Larry Kudlow here for Colonial Metals Group. Ask yourself, is your retirement protected? Gold is the one asset that's surged through every war and economic shock. Please call 800-621-3908. That's 800-621-3908. Or just visit freegoldguide.com/Kudlow to claim your free 2025 gold guide. You'll learn how to protect your IRA or 401k and could qualify for up to $7,500 in free silver. That's freegoldguide.com/Kudlow.
This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
This is Another Side of Midnight with T.J. McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's T.J. McCormack.
It is 7 minutes past the hour, and on we go. I cannot believe I'm still in that weird little self-pinching mode. Well, I'm always in that little self-pinching mode. I'm just so grateful to be here. This is just it, man. I mean, this is it. We're here at 77 WABC in the very best time to be on the radio, far as I'm concerned, for a cool audience and a funky conversation and honesty and, you know, just a willingness to open our brains and have at it, you know, here on Another Side of Midnight. With me, TJ, and the fellas. I've got Tony, I got Bill looking after me, and all of you, wherever you are in the car, you know, out there traveling around, or if you're just sort of kicking back in that sort of low lamp, you got the low lamp going. Maybe you're in the kitchen, like my mom is always in the kitchen. That's where I fell in love with talk radio. I fell in love with talk radio in a kitchen. In my grandma's kitchen. And you know, it's like grandma, like mom, like son, like daughter. My dad was a talk radio in the car guy, is a talk radio in the car guy. What little he can hear of it now. My dad walks and talks and drives to the right. My dad, the idea being he can't hear. My dad can't hear anymore. I don't worry about saying this on the radio. I'm not hurting his feelings because he can't hear me. Anyway, so my dad is a big talk radio in the car guy. My mom is a big talk radio in the kitchen gal, just like her mom, who was my talk radio Eskimo, if you will. And I used to sit there with my grandma and I used to listen to Barry Farber, Barry Gray, and Bob Grant, and just so many greats, and into the wee small hours, and that's where we are. We're in the wee small hours, and it's awesome. I didn't play the numbers. Did anybody play? Did you play? Tonight was like a big something 100 million, and don't you love the arrogance that we all have too? We're a bit snobby with those numbers until the number gets to a certain point. That'll get us out of the house. I run around like as my wife would say, we all run around like a bunch of, like a blue ass fly. I don't know what that means. I don't know what a blue ass fly, it's a British saying, I think. But we all bust our tails to make just enough money so that we can pay the bills and do one or two nice things every now and then. Right? And when the numbers aren't high enough, you know, 6 million. I'm not going to go play a ticket I'm not going to go spend $5, $12 to make $6 million. 147 bill. All right. 147 million. You got my attention now, Powerball. All right. Okay. Now you can get my $10, my $2 a play, my 5 quick picks. You can now get my 5 quick picks because you're into the $100 million range. I don't need your farthings. So I didn't play. I don't know. I forgot, but I'm one of them. And that's good too, because I'll start gambling and gambling and gambling. Are you a gambler? And this is not recovery hour, by the way. 1-800-848-9222. That's the number, by the way, friends. 1-800-848-9222. We're going to open up the lines for you guys because they are open the entire time we're on. And, yeah, so just off the top, do you play all the time? And does the Powerball or the Mega Millions, is there a certain threshold? Because $2 million is just not moving the needle for you. I don't know. 1-800-848-9222. So today, Donald Trump has turned everything on its ear. And I swear to you, I am not talking like a sycophant, because I'm really not. I'm a late bloomer to Trump. I was on the not the bubble, not the fence. I went for him. I liked him. I rooted for him. I thought he was the coolest thing in the world, way back in 16 when he won and all the great. But there were so many times that I would wince and I would ooh and I would and what's he saying and what's he doing? And I never fell for any of the collusion stuff. I never fell for any of the silliness. None of the left's attacks on Trump ever worked on me. I never bought it. But there were just so many times that he would drive me nuts because, some good stuff would happen and then, he would step on his own good news. The example I always give is there was one time early on in his first administration, he was passing big old tax cuts. It was a great day, great financial news. And he went into the press conference, did like 2 minutes on the good financial news, and then bam, went off on a tirade starting to make fun of and attacking the daylights out of Nancy Pelosi. Not that she doesn't deserve to be attacked and made fun of and run right out of town. She's an awful human being who has just spent way too much time in Washington. However, the problem was he buried all the good news. Couldn't get out of his own way. He was like that for almost his entire first term. Just undisciplined. I don't know. I would never say that to his face. Just undisciplined. Maybe it was the people around him. Yeah, it was the people around him, Mr. President, if you're listening. Anyway, it would drive you just batty. And then by the time COVID came around, I think this was a guy who just had been fighting and every day, getting up and pushing a boulder uphill. A boulder that would get heavier and heavier every day as the day went on. And Trump would wake up every morning, start pushing that boulder up a hill. And here comes the Russia collusion. And here comes this. And here comes that. And he's fighting them off. And here comes impeachment. Here comes another impeachment. He's fighting it off. He's a racist. He's a xenophobe. He's fighting it off. He's doing a good thing. He's a businessman. He's keeping his head down. And then comes COVID. And he's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So now this guy, Fridays are meant to be days, and this is not the first Friday this has happened. Fridays are meant to be the days traditionally. I know you guys know that. Fridays are the days that the bad news comes out around 4:00 and hopefully it just sort of goes away and dries off and dies. And that's what you do in PR. You drop the bad news on a document dump. They call it in Washington. They do a document dump. They get all the bad news out Friday around 4:00. And then we come back fresh Monday. Hey, okay, let's see. Where were we? Oh yeah, the good news. Right. We pick up right where we left off on Thursday. So Friday comes and that's normally a quiet day, bad news. Trump has turned that completely upside down. Now, President Trump starts off yesterday Friday, did it again. Tony, you are completely empowered to come in and slap me. You're supposed to do that when I do that. Trump starts off his Friday yesterday by hosting a peace summit, a peace agreement signing between two warring factions, Azerbaijan and Armenia. And, you know, two leaders of two, if not huge, well, Armenia is pretty profound. That's a pretty profound nation. These days, Armenia is, diaspora around the world is definitely gaining influence and it's meaningful. Today what happened was meaningful. And yet two leaders of these countries singing his praises, stepping away from decades of sporadic, intermittent and ugly war and warfare. And there's one of those big three-way handshakes and Trump, nice, quick press conference, answered some questions, kept it on point, kept it on target. And even out loud a couple times said, I'm not, and somebody asked him about it. When are you going to meet with Putin? He said, well, I got to talk about that right now. I'm not going to step on this. Right there. Case in point. The guy is on message. He is seasoned and mature and just on it. So he has that to start the day, goes, signs the official documents, probably has a little lunch. Maybe does some practice putting in the Oval. And then, sure enough, a little bit later, bam, gonna meet with Putin. Gonna meet with the ultimate bad guy. Gonna meet with the baddie on the planet. The baddiest baddie on the planet. I'm gonna meet him next Friday. You know where? Cool spot. Right between us and them. Right on the Bering Sea. I'm gonna meet him in Alaska. Their former domain. I'm gonna meet Putin in Alaska. On American soil that used to be Russian soil. How about that? You guys take that and run with it for the weekend. Enjoy, everybody. Have a great Friday. Mwah! That's what Donald did. He did the big dating game. Good night, everybody. Mwah! 1-800-848-9222. That's what he does. This guy has flipped everything. And you know what? He is it's a great lesson. This is a great lesson for all of us, actually. He is, and I hate to sound like a sycophant. I hate to sound like a fanboy. I don't want to sound like a fanboy. But this is true. And Dave, I see you sitting there, buddy. I see you, David. Stay right there. On line one, I see you. He really, really is. And I know some of you are sitting there going, yeah, he really is a great, can you believe this, gang? It's a great example for your kids. This guy, he is the embodiment of never give up, never stop. Not never give up, never stop. How many times could this guy, nobody would have called him a coward. Nobody would have called him a quitter. No, but this Trump has kept going. He didn't just take his licks in these court cases, federal cases, criminal cases, not just the civil ones that were aimed to bankrupt him and his family. The criminal cases that were meant to ruin him and his family in the process. The guy put on his suit every day, put on his shoes every day. They were shined every day. This son of a gun showed up and spoke up and never gave in. Never gave in. They shot. And when all that didn't work, they tried to kill him. And when he survived, I mean, oh my God. That's what I take away when I see a simple Friday like this from Donald Trump. On a Friday in the dog days of summer, on a day like yesterday, what was yesterday, the 8th? The 8th of August, a Friday, 87 degrees, and down there in Washington, muggy, swampy, ugh. That's my takeaway from a Friday in August with Donald Trump, is I look at a well-done press conference, backslapping, handshaking, making peace. Guy's going to have his like 5th nomination for the Nobel. They're not going to be able to ignore this. They're not going to be able to deny him. They're going to have to give him the Nobel. Who's doing more for peace right now? And again, I'm not a fanboy. Not a fanboy. I'm not. Who on the planet right now is doing more for peace? Actively, proactively. Okay. Pope. All right. He's doing a lot of other things too. I don't know, gang. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. It's another side of midnight. I'm TJ. And, so that's my takeaway with this guy. He's just consistently winning and he's winning. And the guy who's winning today is doing it after just keeping his head down and not just surviving, but thriving for the last 4 years and just on. And by the way, today, making peace today, once again, when he was asked about war, when he was asked about Ukraine, what did he say? He's giving, once again, it destroys him. He hates the death. We all hate the death. Of course, we all hate it. But it's what drives him. And you hear it and it's earnest and it's true. And we're going to get to the calls in a second. But gang, what about the other side? What is the other side doing while he's trying to make peace? The other side is trying to redistrict. The other side is trying to shut up and lock out Republican voices. Somebody made a great point today in the in one of the papers. There are millions of Republicans in the state of Massachusetts. There are millions of Republicans in Massachusetts. They don't have one Republican member of Congress. Not one. I shudder to think how few, if any, statewide offices are held. States as massive as New York and California, they'll have a few. But that's what the other side is doing. The other side is cursing and complaining and kvetching and lying and stomping their feet and supporting men and women's sports. And that's becoming old news, by the way. I'm looking forward to not being able to say that anymore. Anyway, 1-800-848-9222. Thank you so much. Let's go to David in Pennsylvania. You've been hanging in there for a few minutes. Good morning, David. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, TJ. Hey, TJ, I
Yes.
can feel for your dad.
Yes.
I was born half deaf. I'm holding the phone up to my right ear. That is the only ear on my head I can hear from, and my hearing may be fading, and I can feel for your dad. Do you want me to speak up?
No.
Do you want me to speak louder? I will if you...
No, but here's the thing. This is what drove me nuts is that my dad, he had years and years and years. Now my problem is that I think it was prohibitively expensive. My dad didn't want to spend the money. God bless him. He wanted to be able to probably get better. He better want to give the money to his grandkids. But I think, it was probably just a tough choice. I'm sure his insurance wouldn't have covered good hearing aids, but his hearing started to fade like literally 15 years ago. And he did zippity doo-dah about it. He never addressed it. Let me ask you this, David. Here's how you can inspire my dad. You were born with only one side of your hearing. If you had an opportunity to address it and fix your hearing on the other side, would you?
There's a thing called cochlear surgery or something where they can possibly restore the hearing in a nerve-damaged ear. However, I do not want anybody drilling into my head. I do not trust people enough to have a doctor or anybody else drill into my head to do the.
You have a very funny. I like the way you say things. You say, "I do not trust anybody. I do not want anybody to drill into my head." That is one of the most. I love it.
I can't. I don't think it would work. I was born this way with my deaf ear.
Wow.
And I hope your father sometimes gets his ears washed out at a hospital.
Yeah.
It's not a painful procedure at all, and it does make a difference. It does make a difference in the hearing. I did that a couple times.
All right. I will pass that along. I will. Thank you, David. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. This is like a late night radio talk show host dream to say the following phrase. Line 2, Fat Tony, you're on the air.
Oh, I'm on. Thank you. I appreciate it.
How are you, Fat Tony?
Yeah, I'm driving there. I go through a lot of the states.
Yeah?
And the same thing I see over and over again.
Yes.
Is the radical, to make the youth so radical that they're so tough, but they're so sensitive because they know they are supported. You know, you see them get in the police face. You see them disrespect so many other people.
Right.
But if you say one thing, immediately, you are wrong.
They fold like a cheap suitcase. You believe what? I'm sorry. You believe what? I'm sorry.
I believe in confrontation. Ooh. Confrontation is a good thing.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be physical. If you make me uncomfortable, I should be able to say to you, hey, I'm uncomfortable. Take it over there.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that.
Right. No, I get it.
Where are we going?
I see. Yeah, I get it. I think we have a coddled generation that feels entitled, that has a hair trigger snowball type of snowflake type of existence where they are a hair trigger from being triggered, and they're just so gentle and coddled and delicate, and at the same time they're aggressive. And they're angry, and they're opinionated, and they're annoying as hell, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
So tell me.
My thing is this: if I'm fat and I want to say that I'm fat,
okay,
that's fine.
Sure.
As fat people, we know we're fat.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's if you're skinny, you're skinny. It's not a hate crime to call somebody fat.
Right. Oh well, actually, it is. Isn't that sad? In some places, it actually is. You call somebody fat, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I earned it. You know how many hours behind the grill? I earned this. It's not easy.
Did you just slap your belly? Did I just hear you slap your belly saying I earned this?
You heard it. I was congratulating. I was rubbing and slapping at the same time.
Fat Tony is his own Buddha. He's his own Buddha. He's his own good luck.
That's it.
Fat Tony, which Ocean City are you driving to right now?
I'm going to Ocean City, Maryland. Going up to Ocean City, Maryland.
Are you driving?
Yeah.
Are you in the transportation business, or are you going on vacation?
No, I'm in the big rig. Give you some air horn.
Yeah, do it. I have arrived.
There it is.
I have arrived on the radio, late night radio. I love it. I got my first air horn. Look at that. Where are you? What are you hauling tonight?
I'm
don't say ass.
7-Eleven.
You should have said ass. What? You're hauling for 7-Eleven tonight?
Yep. I got 3 stops to go to.
Okay. All right. So you're the guy that eats those rolled up burritos on the heater. Okay. All right. That's how Fat Tony keeps his figure.
Keep them going.
Oh, you funny guy. Hey, Tony, anytime you listen to this show, you are always welcome to call in. I enjoy you. Please definitely don't be a stranger.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
I'm a member.
Excellent. Beautiful. Please be a regular and keep it on the road. Be careful. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. It is time to take a little bit of break. It's 2:30 here on the corner of 3rd Avenue and 49th in Midtown East. My name is TJ McCormick. This is 77 WABC, the other side of midnight. Stay right there.
This is another side of midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Everything about, you see, now I'm very, very blessed, gang. By the way, hi, it's me, TJ. It's another side of midnight, 77 WABC from the Bernard McGurk studios, 3rd Avenue, 49th. This is it. The cream of the crop, 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight. I'm very, very grateful to be here with all y'all. And Tony and Bill, the producers are just magnificent, and they are music dudes. They are music guys. And they know, I know, the element of a pop hit, right, is, and I'm not a musician, I just know from being around them, gotta have that hook. You gotta have that earworm, right? You gotta have that thing. There is so much toe tapping to that song. There is so much, the story, right? You got a story there. You got something, a narrative to follow along to. A great delivery. Kenny Rogers just selling that song. But that no one to hold him, no one to, man, that is right there with the sing-along chorus. It's as good as any other chorus, right? Any other hook. It's as good as any other hook in any genre of music. God, I'm pompous. What the hell do I know? I just caught my own reflection in the glass, and I looked and I said, this guy, who the hell does this guy think he is? I'm an idiot little comedian guy who got lucky and sitting here talking to all you guys, and I'm pontificating about what makes a hit. Well, then go make a hit song, idiot. All right. 1-800-848. I've never seen you with your hat off, Tony. That's the first damn time. Yeah, put it back on. The glare was killing me. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848. Suddenly got brighter in here. 1-800-848-9222. No, I wouldn't say that to him if I wasn't on the other side of the glare. So we're talking about Trump, a little bit of Trump. Also, do you play the numbers? Just that's why the fellas, they support me in my little endeavors. Tonight was something like 100 and something million with, Powerball, I think it was. Mega Millions. I don't know. Do you play all the time? I'm curious. I find it to be an interesting subculture of the people who play the numbers all the time. I'm fascinated by the people who play the numbers, especially the daily numbers, the three, you gotta go play 129. Go play 129. Okay. I'm fascinated by that. And this is not recovery hour. We'll talk recovery later in the show. But I'm just curious. And matter of fact, last night I found out that there's a guy I know who's a bookie. I didn't even know, and this guy is like, he's me. He's a little taller version of me. He's just this suburban dude that I know. And I found out later he's a bookie. And I said, wait, I'm sorry. Did you say he's the person who said it? I said, wait, I'm sorry. Did you say I said, are you misusing a short, are you saying he's a bookkeeper? Like, is he an accountant or is he a bookie? And our mutual friend said, no, he takes bets. I was like, but for who? I was like, what? He's not in the mob. Anyway, do you use I'm just curious. I'm curious. 1-800-848-9222. If you played the numbers, what's and tell me about your biggest hit. What's your biggest hit? Cause I've had nice hits in Vegas. My wife once hit for like $800. That was fun in Vegas. Tell me the little gambling side conversation. Otherwise, we were talking about Trump and just the guy, Mamdani and these other haters, these other goofy performative Democrats who just all they can do is curse in between saying Donald blank and Trump. That's all they can do. That's all they got. They better hope he don't make peace. Once this guy closes, to use the real estate vernacular, once he closes on Ukraine and Russia and they start sizing him up for statues, you guys are done and you know it. You can get out there and scream and rant and rave and give the finger and then your time, and I wonder how many of you know it. The ones in Washington, the electeds, The smart dummies, they know their time they know the clock is ticking on being able to attack him. It's already quite irrelevant. But for you dopes that show up at the King Day or the No Kings protests, for you dopey sheep that show up for the silly protest that you're told to be there for, come and just and rise up against ICE. Rise up against the 80% of America who disagree with you about the border. Your days are numbered. This guy's about to become cheered by the majority of, that's it. Let's get over to Al in Yonkers. Al, good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ, on 77 WABC. Morning.
Hey, TJ. Good morning to you. I just wanted to say I agree with you. Just quickly
Yes.
on the gambling. I won't stay long with that.
That's fine.
I usually don't play the lottery and all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad for me because over the years when I have gone into the stationery store to pick up the newspaper, because I'm an avid reader, I do read all the papers.
Good for you.
It's a turnoff when I see these people.
Yeah.
It's like an addiction.
It is. No, it is an
getting
addiction.
These lottos.
Yeah.
And they don't have it.
Yeah.
Many of them are indigent. They don't have the money and they're just burning it.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. And you live in Yonkers, so you know when
North Yonkers.
So when you drive past Empire City, is it still Empire City? Is that what it's called?
It is. That's
yeah.
Yes.
Once when you drive by Empire City, look, I drive by there on the way home from here every Saturday and Sunday morning. I drive right past there on 87.
On the thruway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I'm looking, and that parking lot is still like 2/3 full at 5:30 in the morning. And that is gut wrenching because I know that most of those people in that place have no business being in there throwing their money away.
Yeah, you even mentioned that, I think, in your last newscast last week or so.
Yeah, I might have thrown that out there.
I caught that in my mind. I'm on the other side of the city, more towards the river.
Right.
As you go towards the Hastings,
Gotcha.
the north end.
Nice.
But, the Empire, they hope to get the people there. But, sometimes if I go by Yonkers Avenue, you'll see a lot of people at the bus drive. And you could tell they're not clean cut. They look a mess. I'm not sure. You know what I mean?
No, I know. You're not being mean, no. But go ahead. And so Trump, I think you wanted to hit Trump too. Yeah,
I agree with you. Trump is doing a great job. The only thing I felt really sad about that I read in the papers, if you ever dealt with any Indian people, I've dealt with Indian people.
Yes, me too. I've been lucky to. They're really wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, they really are.
It's a great community.
People. Most of them, they are, exactly. And it's unfortunate because the president had a good relationship with the Prime Minister of India.
Yeah.
And it seems to have really deteriorated. And it's like almost, I feel bad for the Prime Minister of India because he's a decent guy.
Yeah, Modi.
But the president really seems to have it in for him, and that's a bad situation.
Yeah, it seems like now I'm hoping that it's temporary. Al, I got to say, you as a self-described voracious reader and a very competent consumer of the news, I feel a little vindicated, I got to say. Because when I heard about the big tariffs that he just slammed onto India, my very first thought was, wait a minute, Modi was here like 6 weeks ago and singing Trump's praises, and they were like all hugs and handshakes in the Oval Office.
Exactly.
And my first thought was, what the hell happened in the interim? Let's hope this is just one of those temporary things.
Yeah, and even last year, or I think the president's first term, at the end, the latter part, they met in Houston. They had a big rally. You remember?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. No, matter of fact, I worked with, last year, this time last year, I was working on a political campaign in Yonkers for a really wonderful candidate for, New York State Assembly with, John Isaac was his name. And, John Isaac was.
I know John. I talked to him a few times. Great man.
Great
Very nice gentleman.
Man. Yes, from originally from Kerala in India, a part of India with a lot of Christians. He's actually Christian, not Hindu. Yeah, so interesting stuff. And yeah, I just saw him last night, as a matter of fact. John Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of phone conversations with him.
Yeah.
I wanted to help him more, but I couldn't do the personal issues.
Right.
But I thought he was a real gentleman.
Yeah.
He had a respectable showing against an entrenched incumbent.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll run again, but
He'll
I
be
think
back.
It's not a big deal for
He'll
him
be back.
because he's not a career politician.
Nope, he's not. Again, it's a good consistent indicator that Asian American community is solid and should be acknowledged. They really are great. And thank you for chiming in, Al. As always, you're awesome. Cyrus, you hang right in there. We're going to take our quick 45 minute after the hour break. Cyrus, do not budge. We'll be right back to you. It is 2:45 in the morning here on Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormick. This is 77 WABC.
This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
2:48 here in New York City, and we're talking to everybody all around the world on WABCRadio.com. You can also find me over on Twitter, X, at TJ McCormick. We have a really great growing community there. So definitely, by all means, hit Twitter, X, whatever, at TJ McCormick, and please do that. I want to make sure we get over to Cyrus. Been waiting forever. Hello there, Cyrus. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, you really hit a great point about Trump not giving up, and I hope he inspires other Republicans to do the same. Stop with the worrying about the polls. Stop worrying about, you know how they put out the polls that Hillary's a lock. Hillary's going to get in. Fake news was telling you there's just no chance. And bingo. And they're trying to do the same with Curtis Sliwa. Now, how absurd is that to say, well, somebody should drop out? So if anybody drops out, do you think I'm going to go vote for Mandami just because somebody dropped out?
Right.
And Curtis is the only, first of all the rest of them are just Democrats. They're just 1 degree different Democrats.
Sure.
And so they're trying to make you think to get out, to not vote. It's Curtis all the way.
Yeah.
What sane person would vote for anybody else? Yeah. And you're talking about, as far as gambling, with AOC and with all of these Democrats telling you there should be no billionaires. One, who are they to tell what person can be? And when you gamble, do you gamble to lose?
Right.
No, you want money.
Yeah.
And they're fighting against money. So talk about 90-10. You know,
and Cyrus, look, man, Cyrus, look, here's the thing. I remember when it was a bit of an epiphany for me when, I remember, it wasn't too long ago. It was Obama. And I remember, I've mentioned this a couple times before on the show, but I remember when Obama said in an address, or like a town hall kind of thing. And he basically said, look, there comes a time when you've made enough money, and I mean,
I remember that, yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, what did the president of did the leader of the world's greatest economy, the world's greatest capitalist society just say there comes a point? Well, who is to determine what is that enough money? Who is to determine? It's, you know what? As far as they're concerned, it's the same damn people that are supposed to determine what's your fair share.
I remember when he told that plumber. Right. I stood up and asked him a question, and he says, well, we'll tell you when you can make.
Yes.
And I says, if I could pass any wisdom to everybody is you can never be too rich, you can never be too healthy, and you can never be too wise. There is no limit to it.
Boom. Cyrus, you are so right.
How does it hurt you if I'm rich?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Exactly.
Oh, did I say something about the truck driver guy?
Yeah, sure.
What? I drive straight jobs, 26-footers or whatever.
Wow. But, what does that mean? What do you mean? Straight jobs. What does that mean? You drive straight jobs. What does that mean?
It's a truck that's not, in a cab and.
Oh, not a semi. Not a semi. It's a one unit truck. Okay, go ahead.
The first time I ever drove, way back, a tractor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one, you're sitting up looking at the roof of everybody else's cars when you're driving down there.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I said, this ain't easy. You got. Back then they were with 10 speeds, but now I'm saying I saw a guy pull a tractor trailer down Manhattan. Mm-hmm. He backed this 53-foot box right into a building in one shot. I got so much respect for
those guys. Are magnificent.
Everything we own back and forth across America.
Cyrus, those guys, those men and women who drive those damn trucks, those and like you said, and they back up. They do a broken U. And like you said, directly into a loading dock, and they should get a round of applause from everybody. I think I've seen it. I've seen guys get a round of applause, actually.
I'm standing there looking at him. I says, man, this guy's good.
And then you see
know
these,
what it is to get up in that cab.
And you see these dopes that can't park straight into a supermarket parking lot in their dopey little, Chevy. I got to jump, Cyrus. Thank you so much, buddy. I'm really, really glad that I called. That was very cool. We got Tony on line too. Good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
How are you, sir? Good to hear your voice again.
Very good. And you know what? That beautiful music that you just put there, and then you accompany you singing good.
Yeah.
Let me say, remind me my best friend, my good friend, and you are one of them too, Mr. Curtis Lewa. And we always have fun. And let me tell you something. Curtis Lewa, I don't care what, I'm voting for him.
Yeah.
Because this is his philosophy. Forget about economy, forget about this, and forget about that.
Yeah.
Because if you have crime in the street, nothing of that can be true. All I have in mind is to clean the streets, and there's always you can come in and shop. And this is the best way to be, like he's doing great.
Yeah.
I hope that people listen. If you don't have subways, if the cream is out, you people be free to go all around and spend the money.
You're right. You're right. We need commerce. We need people to feel safe to come into the city. We need people to feel safe to go to the store, to go to the bank, right? And we need to be able to do commerce and make business and make money. And you can't have a capitalist society if people are afraid to leave the house.
I am Puerto Rican. I was born in USA.
Right.
So when I came from Puerto Rico to here, it's just like moving from the Bronx to Queens. The same thing.
Yeah.
When I came in the 60s here, my God, 70s, 80s, and then we went bad, and then Mr. Giuliani and Mr. Bloomberg, they fixed it. I vote for both of them. Because
they made it better.
Make it worse. And I asked him one day in the campaign, Mr. Giuliani, if you become the mayor, what would you do with Manhattan so I can go out with my wife?
Right.
Because believe me, I was an executive in Key Food.
Yeah. We love your story. What did Giuliani say to you? Did he tell you he was going to clean it up and make it safe?
Oh, he said to me, Tony, because he was here in East Harlem.
Yeah.
And then he said, Tony, I promise you your wife can go freely. And you know what?
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you have ever have the chance to ask him, after he won.
Yeah, he did great things.
We and my wife went to 86th Street shopping. And my wife said, Tony, Giuliani. and I said, no, honey. Mayor
Giuliani. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for calling, buddy. Always great to hear. I remember when Tony called in about a month or two ago, and we were talking about, I had my book. Actually, I brought it tonight. My book of old New York City. It was like a travel book from 1965. And I was rambling off names of Latin nightclubs with dancing and live music, and Tony was like finishing the sentences. He knew all these places, and he was telling me the bands that would play and the band leaders, and he saw Xavier Cugat, and he saw all those guys. Let's see. Let's get over Rick. This is perfect timing. Original Rick. Line 3. Good morning, Original Rick.
Yeah, good morning, Lionel.
Hey.
Good morning.
Actually, it's TJ, but same thing. We're both about the same height.
I'm
we
sorry.
look alike.
Why did I say that?
We look exactly alike. It's very easy to do that.
No, you don't. By the way, I have two subjects. So don't hang up after the first.
Well, actually, you know what? Do you want to hang on through the break?
Yes, I will.
All right. Okay. You hang on through the break. We'll do that. So friends, we're coming up to the top of the hour. We'll hold on for Original Rick there. We'll put him right back. Okay. Good guy. He's going to hang there. So the rest of the show, again, wide open for anybody. Nope. Wide open for anybody, except for that one. Who, and at any time, we're going to talk about gambling. We'll talk about Trump. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to, and perfect timing also for this, gambling thing. We're going to give you an interview with, a very, very interesting, fella, a guy named Jim Karol. All right. Jim Karol is a mentalist, but not like Kreskin. He's not like that. It's interesting. The guy had a heart issue, and when he recovered from his heart issue, his brain responded as well. Basically, the guy one time predicted the winning numbers. Speaking of everything we're talking about, or one of the things, he predicted the winning numbers in Pennsylvania once. And he had been talking about it in a few personal appearances he was making. And word got around that he had been telling everybody to play these certain numbers. And turns out the number of people that went out and played raised the number, for the jackpot. And a bunch of people won, and whatever. You'll hear. It's good stuff. So we're going to talk to, Jim Karol in the next hour. Also, have you heard of this proclivity? I don't know if I'll call it a fetish, but it's a fetish. They have a list of the top fetishes around America. Have you ever heard of vor? Do you know what vor is? V-O-R-E? I don't know. Weird. 1-800-848-9222. It's the another side of midnight with TJ McCormick, 77 WABC. It's 3:07 here on 77 WABC. It's me, TJ, and this is another side of midnight. All around the world on the 77 WABC app, and you can listen anywhere you are on WABCRadio.com. Grateful you're there. Also, check in on at TJ McCormick at Twitter. I want to say hi to Marianne and Catherine are there, and we've got the whole bunch, the whole crew is over there. Patty's around, and everybody, the family is gathering as we speak over on Twitter. So by all means, jump in over there and say hi. We're talking about a few things. We're talking about the proliferation of gambling and who should do it. Now, we talked about it a couple of times. Last week, the week before, we mentioned over there in Times Square how Jay-Z wants to open a Caesars empire thing. It sounds cool. Big flashy. Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Caesars in Times Square. It's meant to be. I just don't know. We gotta tap the brakes on a lot of stuff. You almost get the sense that they know there is one of the people whose shoes I fill when I show up here and Tony or Bill turns on the light and the mic goes. One of the people is Art Bell, the late, very great Art Bell. and he owned overnight around the country radio. And he referred to the quickening. And I must say that I've run with that concept, that the world is just getting faster and faster and faster. And, you know, the amount of incoming information, the amount of news. I mean, today we opened up the show talking about today's news cycle or yesterday's news cycle. And actually Saturday. Yes, today. What's going to happen today? And anyway, on a Friday, that you could break your neck looking left and right trying to keep up with the headlines on a Friday in August. That's what it was like yesterday. And so the world just keeps going. And so when I think about the idea of opening up a multi-billion-dollar, several 100,000 square foot casino in the middle of Times Square. See, this is, if you want to be the good version of some anti-capitalist or whatever, that's when you talk about tapping the brakes and going, hold on. Who is going to be impacted by that? The people who want to gamble, who can gamble, who should be able to gamble, who have discretionary funds and disposable income, they can make it down to AC. They can certainly hop a flight to Vegas. They can go to the Bahamas. They can take a cruise. You kick open the doors of a 100,000 square foot casino in Times Square. And just like Empire City in Yonkers, it's going to draw in people who have no business throwing money away. And so the reason I go on this weird little diatribe with the slow it down, that to me, it's one of those stories that gets lost in the shuffle, right? Big, flashy. Jay-Z wants to team up with Caesar's World, wants to do this, do that. And it gets sort of slipped in there in the news amidst all the other fast breaking stuff. And when I think about that sort of thing happening, that's the kind of thing that gets right past all the regular taxpayers, all the regular New York City people. And it's one of those things that, like, before anybody knows it's a conversation, it's approved. The city council pushes it through. And next thing you know, they're breaking ground and you see everybody out and you're going to see showgirls and a guy dressed like Caesar and boom. And then the next thing you know, there's going to be a big casino in Times Square and people are going to say, when the hell did that happen? And just as they're saying, when the hell did that happen? It's going to be like 300 people elbowing their way in the front door so they can throw money into a slot machine. People who have no business gambling away their money. So that's what I was going. That's where I was going. Sometimes I hear myself talking and go, okay. I think I've caught up with my stream of consciousness there. That's what I mean. We got to slow down sometimes and tap the brakes and look and hear. And when you hear that Jay-Z wants to throw a casino, okay. So that's where I was going with that. It's just a big, crazy, fast world. And Art Bell had it right. It's a quickening. And that he was coming up with that terminology the late 90s, early 2000s, well before social media. Social media, man. These news cycles, these days, how kids keep up, I don't know. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC is the phone number. Let's get back over to Original Rick, who had a couple of things to say. Go on, Original Rick, line 3. Good morning, brother. Again.
Yes, good morning, TJ. Do you mind if I call you TJ?
Please. That's the damn name.
Well, I know, but I used to call you Mr. McCormick.
Oh, you're very kind. No. TJ, please. Thank you, Rick.
All right. 2 addictions I want to talk about. First, gambling, and then talk radio.
Okay.
The gambling, I had a friend, this lotto thing is just as addictive as roulette or poker or anything else. He would be late in the morning, unfortunately he passed away, he would be late at work in the morning because he had to stop off and get the morning pick, whatever.
Wow.
Then at lunch, we go to get something to eat. He'd be in line at the lotto to get the afternoon one, and all day long he'd be looking, oh, look at that car. Get that license plate number, because he'd play the numbers on the license plate. It was insane. One time his wife was crazy because he hadn't come home from work. And she said, can we go out and look for him? We found him in a parking lot of a deli, passed out to sleep with like 50 scratch-offs on the ground. Like you would find an alcoholic with beer cans outside his car.
Yes.
He'd scratched off until he passed out, It was amazing how addictive they can be,
Wow, that is something.
So it's not as innocuous as you see. When you see those people online, they might really be having a problem.
Oh, yeah. And again, it's all all the elected officials, they know it. They know everything about it. They look the other way because it's massive revenue. Revenue.
Incredibly.
What's your other thing? Talk radio addiction?
In fact, you brought up some things like Art Bell. He got me, Art Bell is the one that got me interested in it. When my father would drive us back from grandma's on Sunday night dinner, I'd be supposedly asleep in the back seat, but he'd be listening to Art Bell.
Yes.
And I was just enthralled with ghosts and goblins and UFOs, and it just got me. And then it went away for a while. Then I got reintroduced with it when my parents used to live in Vegas and I lived in LA, and every 2 months I'd drive out there.
Sure. It's a great drive. It's a great drive.
Right. In fact, when I would pass Pahrump, I'd always say, oh, that's where Art Bell lives.
Yes.
And then you look over to the mountains over there, and it says Calico on the side.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I miss it. I was just out there 2 weeks ago.
Me and my dog. We would take that drive, just me and my dog, and it was some of the best times of my life.
Yeah. Good for you, brother.
But one of the things that got me happy, I love to do, was go back and forth on the dial of the AM radio. And you could listen to stations from Montana. Yep. Idaho, Chicago,
Cheyenne, Wyoming. I used to love hearing Cheyenne, Wyoming. That's when you knew you were someplace different, was when you would hear the radio from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
I remember the guy said he was the Midnight Cowboy from Wyoming. I said, you can call yourself that.
Yes,
you can.
Because he actually is. And then you had WWL from New Orleans, which was the truckers show. The road gang, coast to coast.
And then I eventually moved out to the desert, and that's where I got interested in shortwave, because then I could get everywhere.
Just like Rod, just like Art Bell.
But it was amazing, just going back and forth with that dial over hours and hours.
It's the best.
It was just it is. It was. I'm still addicted to it.
Me too, brother. And that's why I pinch myself every time I sit down in this chair. I go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. You're going to love tomorrow night show, by the way. Tomorrow morning show, by the way. I'm sorry, Sunday morning. You're going to love it. You're going to hear a very Art Bell type, program. I'll tell you,
I love it.
I'll tell you a little bit what that's going to be. I got to jump, but let me get over to, Pamela real quick. Pamela, I got 3 minutes. Good morning. Slippery slope.
Good morning. This is what, we're in a slippery slope, the Roman Empire. My God, they invented the flushable latrine aqueducts that brought us water. And because they got sloppy with their civilization and they wanted to have a good time, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of like us just, what do you think? I again, every once in a while I go with the stream of consciousness and I realize, okay, I'm actually saying out loud what's going on in my head. That's not always helpful. But when I started going into this thing about everything happening so fast, and you almost get the sense that the powers that be know that we just can't keep up with everything. So they're just going to slide stuff in there when we're not paying attention. I mean, this is like a runaway train, what some people are trying to do, and putting in a casino and taking more money from people who just can't afford it. That's that's a piece of what you're talking about, right?
Oh yeah. I was just talking today, and my husband, and he's usually the one that is like hyper and getting into stuff, and said, oh, don't worry about it. But he was like focused on it today. We were both talking about everything is too fast.
Yes.
And, he was a truck driver. He drove tankers and everything. He drives motorcycles. He's vigilant and hyper. and into movement. And he was saying everything is too damn fast.
We're not built for it, Pamela. I think to expand on your point, and you know what? I'd talk to you forever, but I've got to take an earlier break this hour, so I'm going to say thank you for calling. But just to tell you, Pamela, I think along the lines of what you're saying, I just think our brains aren't built for it. Our brains are not built to react to news and stimuli and incoming and flashy lights. And the fact that every time somebody says, oh, that video's too long. Hey, you got to put out a video. TJ, put out a video. When you do your video, it can't be more than 17 seconds. Yeah, too long. It's a minute and a half. That's too long. People have you gotta get the attention span of a gnat. I don't think that's right. I don't think we're built for this. I think that's part of the problem. All right, gang. It's 3:20 in the morning here on Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm TJ McCormick. When we come back, we're going to talk to a very, very interesting mentalist, a guy by the name of Jim Karol. Stay right there. And now we are joined by Jim Karol. His website is Jim Karol with a K, jimkarol.com. Jim is a mentalist. I think we're going to just have a little bit of break from the usual. There's so much news, that I just wanted to indulge a little bit into some late night conversation. And, so we've got Jim here. Jim, a mental, is it accurate to call you a mentalist?
Yeah, I guess that's what a lot of people call me, TJ, a mentalist. I do a lot of feats of memory and things like that, and I've been around a long time, probably 5,000 college gigs in my career, and it all started in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where I used to work in a steel mill, and it was really amazing how this career started. And I was about to lose my job, just like the Billy Joel song, living here in Allentown.
Yeah.
So
the steel mills were shutting down, and
yes, back in the day, and so I lost my job, and my only talent other than the steel mill was I could do a couple card tricks. So I took my wife's Avon account because she was 8 months pregnant, and I went to all her clients, and I would show the women card tricks, and I don't know if they felt sorry for me or they liked my card tricks. I became one of the biggest selling Avon people. It was amazing how it started.
By accident. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could do card tricks and you smelled good and you had a lovely base of powder and okay. All right. Good. So go ahead. This is fascinating. So the steel industry around Allentown starts to crumble. You pick up the slack a little bit by calling on your wife's makeup and beauty clients, and at some point you're doing some card tricks, but I still don't see the connection. How do you stumble across the fact at this point in life that you've got a superior mental ability?
Okay, that's really cool, because now I did work in a steel mill. I barely made it out of high school. All right, I used to get bullied as a kid. So I did this show. I put this show together, and I used to go around the country, and they called me Psychic Madman. Okay. I was a madman because I worked at the steel mill, and I put my hand in bear traps and things like that. I bent steel spikes with my bare hand, and then I would do these card tricks. And then they nicknamed me Psychic because in 1990, I had a dream of a daily number in Pennsylvania, 222, and it actually came up. And I would announce it at all my shows. Play 222, December 22nd, you will win. And somehow it came up.
Whoa.
And that got me the nickname Psychic Madman, and I stayed with it in the college market. And then what had happened was, to answer your question, when I was about to turn 50, I developed some kind of heart problem or something. I had like a super enlarged heart, and I had like the heartbeat of a 90-year-old man, so I didn't know what to do. You know, living in Allentown, you're living off these cheese steaks from Philly and stuff like that.
And you're breathing in all that steel, all that
there you
ore,
go. Yeah.
and This is insane.
I never thought
okay.
about that. You're probably right. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. I diagnosed you all these years later. So, yeah, all right. So, well, first of all, let me just back up to the lottery thing. How many people, did that cost the state a lot of money? Did people get your message?
Did. Yeah, the average payout in Pennsylvania at the time was about $1.2 million a day. Mm-hmm. And on that day, December 22nd, 1990, over $12 million was won. And I must have announced that at least 32 shows. I would say, play 222, December 22nd. And it was a dream that
and they attribute that to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
Really crazy. Got a lot of publicity for it. So getting back to the
mm-hmm.
heart issue, when I found out I had this heart issue, I started going on an exercise bike,
mm-hmm.
and the bike was so boring that I would take my cards and try to memorize long strings of cards, like 12, 15, 20 at a time,
mm-hmm.
just to keep from being bored, not knowing it would turn into what it did. Before you know it, I started memorizing a whole deck of cards on the trip on the bike for an hour. Then I got it down to a half an hour, then 15 minutes, then 10 minutes. It kept getting lower and lower. I'm like, what is going on? So I started memorizing other things. I would make flashcards up and memorize digits of pi, like 3, 1, 4, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 2, 5, 8, 9, 7. I would memorize like 100 digits of pi every day on my bike. And it was like energizing me. It was a really cool thing that was happening.
Jim, hold on a second. So tell me this. Were you a great, did you say that you did you just say that you flunked out of high school?
I barely made it out of high school. I had like a 1.2 grade point average. It was crazy.
So it's not just that you developed a particularly remarkable mind power. You developed it from a not particularly impressive mind power. And I don't mean to be,
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's really amazing. It's a true story. And so I incorporated all of that in my act and started doing like, hey, what's your birth date? April 10th, 1953. Oh, you were born on a Friday. And I would memorize dates and things like that. And the show was becoming different.
So can I ask you one? Can I ask you one? Let me take a shot. April 10th, 1917.
April 10th, 1917. So that would be, 1917. That was a Tuesday.
Holy cow. June 27th, 1968.
June 27th, 1960 what?
8.
1968 was a leap year, so that was a Thursday.
Holy Lord. Okay,
this is not.
You're right. That's my birthday. That's my birthday, and you're right. And it's a Thursday.
Watch this.
Go ahead.
Give me any 5-digit zip code in the United States.
91604.
91604. I believe it's in Studio City, California.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
This is what I'm telling you. This stuff is cool. And so you see my point. It started really changing my life. So I called it edutainment. All right. But here's the coolest part of all. When I went back to the doctor after about maybe 2 years of doing this, he was like, "Oh my, what's going on? Oh my God!" He scared the heck out of me. I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "I never seen this before. I never seen a reversal of an enlarged heart. I had a reversal of an enlarged heart, and I no longer had the cardiomyopathy. So whatever I was doing with my brain affected my body. So that is what really turned me on to this. And I started going around down to the USO at Walter Reed, and I started going and touring bases and helping wounded warriors with PTSD, helping kids with Asperger's. And so that's where I.
How did you help kids with Asperger's? How did you help wounded warriors? What did you do?
Motivation. I had this memory course that I developed. This course, I call it Cogmental Intelligence. And the reason why I call it cogmental is cog for cognitive fitness, which I did on a bike, and mental was short for mentalism. I was a mentalist. Was it a combination, by the way, that healing? Because I was going to also jump in when you were saying earlier, you found yourself on your bike, and that's when you started knocking around with some of the memory bits and the numbers of pi and and all that.
was there any possibility? Have people studied you to figure out if there was a connection between the physical exercise to keep you alive, that not only kept you alive, right? It actually reversed your enlarged heart.
It enhanced my life. Yeah, it enhanced you greatly.
And
getting back to that question,
yeah, go ahead.
Florida Hospital did a study on me, and now I work with MIT. In fact, I help a professor out there, Robert Ajami, and every once in a while I get on Zoom and I do his computational neuroscience class, computational math. I mean, you say I shouldn't be doing any of this stuff. I'm hanging out with the top doctors on the planet. This is really crazy what's going on. And now I'm 72 years old. Now here's the cool thing.
Yeah.
It's getting stronger than ever before. This gets stronger with age. You just got to do it. You got to do the work. It's so cool.
Is it like? And by the way, everybody, we're talking to Jim Karol. He's a mentalist. He's a man with a mind he sounds like it started to expand in your late 40s or your early 50s. Early 50s. You go to jimkarol.com, Karol with a K, Jim Karol, and his latest book is Mathematical Mind. It's available on Amazon. Jim, before we get into the book, again, they're studying your mind. Has anybody, or your brain rather, they're studying the organ, I imagine, your brain. What have they told you about? Is there anything physically remarkable about your brain, or the blood capsule? Are your veins larger? Are your capillaries carrying more oxygen? What is it? Have they told you anything about your brain in particular?
That's a good question. Yeah, in fact, at Florida Hospital, when I was down there a few years back, I was in my mid-60s at the time, all right? Now I'm 72, all right? And neurological disorders, three of the main things is your brain mass shrinks,
right?
Your cognitive abilities diminish, and your brain age speeds up.
Right.
When I did the testing down there in a MEG machine and MRI and all this testing, my brain mass grew like 4 times the frontal lobe, parietal, occipital, and temporal all grew, all 4 lobes, all right? My brain age was that, you're not going to believe this, of a 39-year-old man in my mid-60s. So, yeah, there's something to this.
But do they have, is there a protein thing? Is it just the exercise? Or, I mean, how come all I'm hearing about is things like Prevagen, and I'm hearing about, I hear about a couple of things all day long on TV and radio. I hear about people losing their cognitive ability. I hear about, we all saw Joe Biden decline right before our eyes, and I'm not making fun. We hear about, supplements like Prevagen and different things, and what is it, ginkgo and other stuff that's supposed to help your mind. But I'm not hearing anything about sit on a bike and memorize zip codes.
Yeah.
So
I wish they would. Look, I think it's a combination of in my opinion, I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. I call it ESPN, all right, and not the sports network.
Right.
E for exercise your brain and body. S for proper sleep. P is the most important of all, positivity. You got to be extremely positive day after day after day. It's a tough time to be positive in the world. And then N for nutrition, which I cheat on. I still eat my chocolate chip cookies and things occasionally.
Right.
And when I say exercise, I'm talking not just physical, mental exercise. Your cognitive, it slows down the brain.
Is it as simple as reading? I mean. Okay, so is it about just? Okay, let me ask you this. When I lift weights, I finally started lifting weights because my daughters were making fun of my scrawny arms. So when I lift weights, I know my goal is ultimately I try to lift more and I try to lift heavier and I try to increase repetition. If I'm totally wrong, or if it's not this, then please just say, no, TJ, it's not this. But is it a matter of like, okay, you could either read a book, you could read the Bible, you could read War and Peace, you could read Dr. Zhivago, or is it about trying to read So in other words, is it about trying to read more and more intense literature? Is it about reading Shakespeare? Or could you get away with reading the New York Times every day? Is there heavier lifting that one can do? Or is my question just doesn't make sense?
That's a very good question. In fact, hey, look, just like exercise, obviously you could run a marathon and you could run, or you could just take a walk around the block.
Right.
They're both going to be good for you. The marathon
right.
would probably be a little better.
Right.
So what I would suggest is like what I do is, well, getting back to the weightlifting, that, in my opinion, that once again, these are just my opinions that work for me. Weightlifting is very, very good for you. All right.
It and it's good for, so it actually, it's a coincidence that I brought that up because actually part of your thing is also about being physical. So it's exercise. Okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry. So lifting weights is good.
Your self-esteem too.
Yes.
When you're lifting weights and you look at yourself in the mirror, wow, that's me. Look at this. I'm 72 and I still got some. Yeah, that's really cool. But the important thing about sleep, you got this thing. Okay, it's first of all a good night's sleep. It strengthens your immune system and it energizes your brain and body. Like I'm energized right now because I just worked out before.
Right.
But most importantly, a good night's sleep. It enables this thing called the lymphatic system.
Right.
It like cleans up your brain and removes the toxins, just like your brain's own personal maid service that works when you. This is crazy, and it has a very positive effect on inflammation, stress. So sleep is so important. These people, I say, I can go 4 hours of sleep. Oh yeah, well sooner or later it's going to catch up.
It's going to give up on you. Yeah, you got everybody. Go to JimKarol.com and read more because we're not going to cover nearly as much as you can find over there. Jim Karol with a K.com, and also jump onto Amazon. His latest book, he's written many. His latest book is Mathematical Mind. It's available on Amazon, as I said. So tell me this again. I've heard, I understand the correlation, physical exercise. I understand you went through some trauma with an enlarged heart. Anything could have happened as you got better, but I still don't see a connection between your getting better and this regimen that you stumbled upon with your mind and exercising your brain as you exercise your body. I still don't see the connection between that and knowing 80,000 zip codes. Okay. I mean, in other words, was there anybody else in your family like this? I mean, and again, have the doctors said to you there is something is your brain bigger, heavier? And I'm not being funny. Is there something that is just, what have the doctors actually told you definitively that makes you different from other people?
The brain does grow through a lot of cognitive fitness. Even, and once again, I'm not a licensed doctor or physician, but I know for a fact I study the brain now with my memory, and your brain can grow at any age. I don't care if you're 75, 80 years old. In my opinion, I think you actually get stronger with age, your brain, your mental power, if you work it.
Yeah.
You know, like the old adage, use it or lose it.
That's
kind of what it is. It really is real.
I'm going to throw a zip code at you real quick, right in the middle of everything. 54912.
54912, that's in the Midwest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the exact town, but I just know it's out there in the Midwest. See, there are some. I don't know every one
Appleton, Wisconsin. So you were right. It was in the Midwest.
Wisconsin. Is that Appleton?
Yeah.
I won't forget that now.
No, you won't. You see, now you committed to memory.
I never heard Apple. That's the first time in my life I ever heard Appleton.
Fascinating. Yeah. Hey, listen, Jim Karol, I want to say, look, we're going to definitely have to talk again. We've only just scraped the surface. And I'm grateful for your time this morning. It's a fascinating concept, the idea that your brain can grow and that, and you're 72 now and your brain has gone in the opposite direction for the last 22 years since you turned 50. So if everybody gets their sleep, their exercise, and they stay positive and they eat right and you do some reading, you never know. You might be able to actually extend, Yeah.
Play a card game. Even playing cards and laughing.
Yeah.
Go see a comedian, a funny comedian, laugh and play cards. That's good for your brain. I play poker.
All right. I'd hate to play poker against you, you son of a gun. All right. So listen, everybody.
Pleasure,
go to,
okay.
Pleasure was mine. Go to jimkarol.com, Karol with a K, and take a look at his latest book, Mathematical Mind, on Amazon. And, all right, buddy, be well, and thanks again for joining.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care, Jim. That was really fascinating. I got to admit, as I'm talking to him, I'm thinking to myself, this doesn't add up. How does he we hear that the brain slows cognitively. We hear that the brain doesn't, and then I'm thinking, well, wait, maybe there really is a correlation. He had a bad heart and his body responded and healed. And maybe he's like this one-off where a brain expanded its capacity and blah, blah. I don't know. I mean, one thing is for sure. You heard me rip out a couple of zip codes at him. Bang, zoom. He got him right off. You know? Robert here in New York. Robert on line 4. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, TJ. As I said to you the last time, and every time I say this, greet you, I will always say Mille Fulci, 1,000 welcomes.
Thank you.
And I have here, I said, well, TJ being of the good stock of the green country.
Yes.
I have some gems, a few gems.
Very nice. Where is your family from in the old
Dominican
side?
Republic.
Oh.
They never understood. They never understood why I was more into Irish sean-nós unaccompanied singing than I was into merengues.
Okay.
And that sort of thing. But, okay, here's few gems I want to share with you.
Please.
The great sean-nós singer Joe Heaney, who was for many years lived in Brooklyn. He was an elevator operator, and he was discovered one day by a lady who was going to visit a dentist, but she never saw the dentist. She rode up and down the elevator with Joe for 8 hours, and he sang some of the great Irish ballads like The Grand Conversation, The Rocks of Bawn, et cetera, et cetera. And then she brought him to the world, and I attended his Irish wake many years ago when he died in Seattle, and it was incredible. There were people who came from all over the world, and this was one of Joe's great gems. He said when he was growing up in Connemara, which, as you know, is in the Gaeltacht, where the Irish language lasted the longest, he said when a man proposed to a woman, he would never say to her, "Will you marry me?" He would say to her, "It would give me great pleasure if you would consent to be buried with my people."
Wow.
Now, a couple of other gems here.
That is a gem, by the way. Yes.
When you were growing up, I'm sure you heard lots of children's lore. And there are lots of street games and children's games. And one of the great collections was done by Tommy Makem and the Clancy brothers.
Sure.
And they learned many of these from their nieces and nephews. Are you familiar? You must be with the famous little rhyme. Some say the devil's dead. Some say hardly. Some say the devil's dead and buried in Killarney. More say he rose again.
That one's new to me.
More say he rose again. More say he rose again and joined the British Army.
All right.
I will leave you with one last gem.
Yes, thank you.
There was a discussion once, as is always the case, who came to America first. Was it the Vikings? Was it St. Brendan? Was it the Basques and the Bretons fishing on the Atlantic tide? Was it Columbus? No. I heard this actually at a story swap in Calgary, Alberta. A young storyteller from Calgary who was of Irish extraction said, no, my uncle told me who came to America first. I said, well, who was it? He says, his uncle told him he was fishing once off the coast of Galway, and he hadn't had much luck. And then he glommed onto something with his line, and he pulled, and up came, not a big fish, but a big rusty wagon wheel. And I said to my Irish friend, and what does that prove?
Yeah.
He said, it proves that there were Irishmen coming to America by road before God told Noah to build the ark.
Hey, Robert, it's always a pleasure. What a charming little touch. That's beautiful.
May you be in heaven half an hour before old Nick knows you're dead, TJ.
Beautiful. Well played. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. God bless. God bless. Way to go, buddy. Nice. All right, friends. And in the spirit of Robert, may the road rise to meet each and every one of you. It is 3:45 in the morning here at the corner of 49th and 3rd in Midtown East. It is another side of midnight with me, TJ McCormick on 77 WABC. We shall return 1-800-848-9222. Give a call.
This is another side of midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Great documentary. Look it up. It's on a few different platforms. I think I've seen it on Prime Video. You got to go find it. I know it lives on YouTube like everything else. You can find it on YouTube. And it's this faceted documentary from oh my God, you got Isaac Hayes headlining this concert at an outdoor stadium in Los Angeles after the riots, after the race riots, I'm trying to get the timing down. Because I've only seen it online, I've seen it in like sections, so I don't know the thread that runs through it. But you've got these cutaways to Richard Pryor talking in a bar with a bunch of brothers. And he's telling stories, doing a little bit of his stand-up, but just being real. And they captured that on film, not video. This is film. You got a young Jesse Jackson with a badass afro who's introduced, and I think Jesse introduced Isaac Hayes. And Isaac Hayes coming out wearing like jeans and a chain, wearing like a chain link, like shirt, a shirt made of chains, like just killer. And the artists they're all from a group, from a label called Stax Records, STAX, Stax Records, which was like a funk, what would you call it? Funk R&B? What would that genre be? Soul. Thank you. Boy, Tony just delivered to the white boy exactly. Soul. Just stop. just stop. Okay. Soul. Thank you. Soul music artists, and Rufus Thomas out of Chicago, I believe. I think he's out of Chicago. Is he out of Memphis? All right. I'm going to just stop trying. I've got some cred on this, right? I got a little bit of cred on this. Okay. Anyway, phenomenal. Put it this way. Rufus Thomas would perform in shorts with Bermuda shorts with like knee-high socks. I've seen videos of this guy out. Actually, maybe in this show he might have. And some of the most beautiful women, they've got footage of women dancing in the stands. And there's one girl. I mean, this is like 50 years ago. This girl, she's got a beautiful natural afro. She got a mini dress. It looks like she's wearing like a napkin, a floral napkin. It's the tiniest little dress, and she is dancing. She's one of the most beautiful it's like, unbelievably and just moving to the music. It's a brilliant documentary. It's great for like a Sunday afternoon. You're doing nothing. Find it, put it on, and kick back. And you got to just let it come to you, because it moves in different ways, in different directions. And it's a snapshot of one of the most fascinating eras from one of the most fascinating places during that era, Los Angeles. Absolutely, you can't look away. It's like the real life version of the movie Car Wash. It's like if Car Wash was like a documentary. And I think Car Wash it's not exactly directly lifted. I don't know if it's the exact same timing. It might be a little bit younger than this, but.
And will not be allowed to return.
Yep.
You must keep your seat.
Yep.
Do we want to see Isaac Hayes?
Isaac Hayes, right.
Brothers and sisters, we are now about to bring forth.
Is that Jesse? That's Jesse. That's Jesse Jackson.
I'm a preacher, I can't say it.
Oh, that is, yeah. He's got his sideburns and a big fro on. He's looking cool as hell.
All of us have been waiting for.
Yeah.
The The brother that all of us have been waiting for. The one we've been waiting for.
Get back to your seats now.
Bad brother Isaac Hayes.
Is that wah-wah pedal? Oh, man. And then the lead up. See, this is what you guys got to see, because he shows up, he drives onto the ball field, and nothing back then. I mean, today the stages are huge. They got the big jumbotrons. Back then, this must have looked like a postage stamp. These people are sitting way back. I don't blame them getting out of their seat. They're sitting in like this. It's not even like a major stadium. It's like some neighborhood medium size. Was it the LA Coliseum? It didn't look like the LA Coliseum. It looked like Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. That's what it looked like. Really? I'm really surprised. Well, again, the technology, they never really got a great shot of the whole stadium. They got it in pieces. Okay. But anyway, so imagine, LA Coliseum seats like 100,000 people. And they got him in the middle of the grass. And, so everybody had to like be real quiet to even be able to hear him. But anyway, he comes driving on and like a series of Cadillacs all pull up. Isaac Hayes gets out wearing a big old cape, gets up on the stage, daps up, Jesse and whoever else was up there. And he rips off the cape and he's got these chains on. It's like a tank top made out of metal. And the only human being on the planet who could wear that is wearing it, Isaac Hayes. Anyway, I highly recommend it. You guys got it. And the music is phenomenal and it's a great snapshot of a different era. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. In the next hour, we're gonna definitely do our, recovery segment in the next hour. I'm not gonna do a whole hour on recovery, but we'll bring it up. We'll open the phones. A little bit of experience, strength, and hope. I got a story I'm going to tell you about. It's actually it's an example of the promises. It's an example of what can be. If you're struggling now, if there's somebody who's a loved one, a friend, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a business partner, somebody who you think, or if you are, in fact, yourself struggling, you think you could do with quitting, or if you know for sure that your life is unmanageable, here on this Saturday morning at 3 minutes to 4 a.m., if you're sitting there and you're worried about somebody you love, if somebody is out there, like literally out there, and you don't know where they are, if you're out there and you don't know where you are, definitely give us a call. We'll talk to you about it, and we'll talk about experience, strength, and hope. And I recently celebrated 20 years of sobriety, so I've been around the block a couple times, and happy to talk about it. In the next hour, phones will be open. If you want to call up, get on hold. But we'll talk about a little bit of it. But I'm going to tell you a story, an anecdote about the good end of it, coming out the other end of the tunnel. I'm going to show you how I got out the other end and what can happen on the other end. It's good stuff. Plus, I also wanted to, people have been spilling some dirt on, Jasmine Crockett, and that's really funny. Plus, one other thing that just freaking me out as we go into this 4 o'clock top of the hour break. This article in yesterday's Post about living on forever in AI. I mean, look, you go anywhere, you see videos of dead people, you watch movies, there's all, people living in perpetuity in TV and movies, of course. But AI, they want to make it so that you can talk to dead people. And I know, he's not talking to dead people, I know. But to me, it's setting it all up. I have enough fear of my own mortality. I don't want to sit at a table and eat a bowl of it. We'll figure it out. It's another side of midnight with TJ McCormick on 77 WABC, 1-800-848-9222. How are you, gang? Hello. Good morning. Welcome to another side of midnight. It's the 4 a.m. hour. We are going to deliver you directly to Liz Radabali for the 5 a.m. news hour. And in the meantime, in the middle, in the interim, as we are here where we live, what we are doing now on 77 WABC, myself and Tony and Bill and all y'all, we are going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk a little bit of kind of current eventy kind of politicky kind of things. Definitely this is the Saturday morning hour where we open it up to a little bit of recovery conversation. Yours truly, no drinky, no smoky, goody two shoes, don't drink, don't smoke. What do? Diet Coke. And I know that's bad too. But anyway, if you feel that your life is unmanageable, if you feel that you are powerless over alcohol, or drugs, or sex, or shopping, or gambling, honestly, does hoarding come in under this? I don't know. But if your life is unmanageable because you are powerless over something, by all means, feel free to give a call. And understand, here's a fact. This is a fact. If right now something's wrong with your life because of a substance or an obsession with a thing or a person, here's a fact. You ready? And this is the be all end all. This is it. This is where the rubber hits the road in terms of addiction. It doesn't have to be this way. That's a fact. You might think in your drunky head, like I did more than 20 years ago, that it does have to be that this is what I need. I need that booze. I need that cigarette. I need that sex. I need that prostitute. I need that garment. I need to buy that. I need to make this bet. I have to. No, you don't. No. You don't understand. I do. I got to place this bet. You don't understand. I need this drink. This one last drink. I need it. This hit, this bump, I need this line of blow. I have to have it. In the middle of that trauma, in the middle of that pain, in the middle of that addiction, you think it, and you could begin to, because addicts are incredible deal makers and shapeshifters and BSers and all of the above. You could get to the point where you convince yourself that the fact is that you have to have it. And yes, your body becomes dependent. And so in that regard, yeah, we could split hairs and you could play drunky addict semantics on me and say, aha, I do need it or I'll get sick. Well, no, the fact is that you don't need it if you stop. And that, yes, you can stop because it doesn't have to be this way. Fact. So 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And Keith, I believe in Queens. If you're out there, we just keep throwing up the smoke signals for you, buddy. What is it? God, is it 2 months ago now that Keith called in? At least 6 weeks ago, at least a month and a half ago. It can't be that soon. It has to be 2 months ago at this point that Keith called in and you were upset. You were in tears. Talking about your boys, you're a dad, and that you can't stop drinking. And a lot of people were wondering where you were and how you are. So Keith, if you're out there, give a shout. Even if you're in the middle of it, even if you're still a mess, give a call. It's okay. 1-800-848-9222. If you're struggling, if your mom or your dad or somebody is in a bad way, by all means, give a call. You are more than welcome. Give a call. Literally, just get something off your chest. You can literally call up and say, I can't stop drinking, and hang up. I'm not gonna pull teeth here, and I'm not gonna force anybody to say anything more than they want to say. You can just identify, because that can help. That can help you down the road take the next step that you might have to take. 1-800-848-9222. My name is TJ McCormick, and this is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm sorry, Another Side of Midnight. On 77 WABC. We're bringing you right up to Liz Radabali at 5 a.m. with the 5 a.m. newscast. And, so we're gonna talk a little bit about this. We've also got a little bit about Jasmine Crockett. And this is some really lousy behavior on her part. You know, that you really start wondering, you start thinking the days are numbered. One of these days, they're going to open the books on Jasmine Crockett. Talk about an addiction. She has an addiction of self. This woman is such a narcissist. It's beyond. And now it's starting to impact, you would think that they're surrounded by yes people. And to an extent they are. These narcissists, some of these elected officials, surrounded by sycophants and enablers. And very often they are. But every once in a while there starts to be a crack in the foundation. A chink in the armor. And that's what seems to be happening here to Lady Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman representing a portion of, I believe, Houston, Texas. And she's apparently not often found at her government-provided suite in the Longworth House office building. That's a nice office. That one is nice there on Capitol Hill. They say, insiders say, quote, she is laying around her apartment, won't come into sounds like an alcoholic. Sounds like me when I was way into the cups, as we call it. You could replace the she with TJ. TJ is laying around his apartment, won't come into the office, is really just indifferent and will scream at people. That was me. And so it looks like the walls are closing in because it says that it's widely known she's not nice to staff. It's just not a really dedicated team member focused on constituents. She's almost focused exclusively on being an influencer and not a member of Congress. They're describing her as all diva and no wow. And here's a kicker. And we'll get to you guys. I see you on, okay, Bob. Everybody hang in there. I see you now. Okay, the lines are filling up. 1-800-848-9222. The staffer is often forced to drive her. Now, if you've been to Capitol Hill, a lot of the apartment buildings that the representatives stay in are within like spitting distance of the Capitol and the office buildings and all that. When she does show up for work, she very often just to attend a committee meeting to do something that's like viral and then goes back to her apartment. She prefers to have a staff member drive her the short distance to her office in a rented car rather than a staffer's car, which is typically used. Staffer is expected to stand outside the vehicle, which, quote, has to be an Escalade or similar upscale model, and open the door for her. She expects her staff to drive her around while she's in the back seat, calling it a power play and treating her staffer like an Uber driver. Gang, Congressman Mike Lawler is a buddy of mine. I've had him on the show. I always identify as such. Mike Lawler is the most regular dude in Congress that I've ever met. Sits in the front seat of a very down-modeled car, basic car. He'd drive if it was okay for business. He would drive. Walks around football games and bar mitzvahs and barbecues and parades, shakes hands, high fives kids, and he means every step of it. He's a regular guy. He's a regular guy. You would never catch him. And you know what? Frankly, his staff would sooner punch him in the mouth if Mike told them to, no, get out of the car and go and open the front door. Open the door for me. I want to get out, and then you, wait, then you hand me my phone. Okay. That's actually a perfect Mike Lawler. Mike, if you're listening, apologies, Congressman. All right. 1-800-848-9222. This Jasmine Crockett, her days are numbered, I think. There's a picture of her in yesterday's Post wearing some very high-end couture-looking jacket. I'd love for them to open the books on her, see how much money she's pulling down on top of the $1.75 she makes as a representative. All right, let's talk a little bit about sobriety and addiction, and let's get over to Bob in New Jersey, because I did drop a little aside about another example of what may or may not be an addiction. And Bob, thank you for calling up. What do you have to say? This is interesting.
Yeah, TJ. You had touched upon it. I'm basically, what you could call a collectaholic. I'm a hoarder. I don't like myself for it. It's hard to get rid of things. People will say, okay, get a dumpster, just throw things out, toss them or whatever. How do I rid myself of it? I'm having a problem with it.
Well, I'm going to guess. Now, it's interesting that you referred to it. And by the way, gang, I do believe me. So much of my recovery is based on throwing out a whole lot of ego and everything. So please don't think that I'm know-it-alling it here. I understand that there is a true, every time I see anything about hoarding or you said a collecting addiction, that is a way to look at it. I always see that there is a mental health component to it, and there seems to be triggers and there seems to be loss early in life, and there's a fear of losing things. But if I was to say about maybe, and this is you and me talking in a diner, right? Over a cup of coffee. Sure. And I'm going to tell you, no, don't put the spoons in your pocket. No, I'm going to say, Bob, put them back. No, but here's the thing. I would, if it was just you and me having a coffee, I would say, you know what works for me and most addicts is, the whole one day at a time. There's a real brilliance and a genius to the one day at a time. And for some people, some are sicker than others. Some people have there's a whole different story. Everybody's different. I've known people that one day at a time was too long. And 1 hour at a time was that. I knew people that had to stay sober, especially people like with blow, with cocaine and stuff. Man, it was like a minute, a second at a time. Like they were constantly on watch. So anyway, that being said, perhaps, Bob, not that you're going to on your own quit this proclivity you have for keeping things. Maybe it's one day at a time you address it. Maybe with a one day at a time plan, or over the course of 3 days, you make a plan to reach out to a professional and you go in and, have you ever done that? Have you sought talking therapy about this?
No, I have not.
That's got to be your move, dude, right? I mean, let me ask you this. Is your life unmanageable? Are you powerless over throwing things away? Are you powerless over it?
Yeah.
And is your life unmanageable because of it? Does it impact your work, your personal relationships, family?
No, it does not, only because as long as I get away from it, I'm okay. I just wish that I'd be able to say, hey, I don't need this stuff. Don't let it inhibit me in any way.
Do you want to be able to say that out loud? Explain that to me. Explain how would your life, how could you see your life being better? What would be better, Bob's life?
Okay. For instance, I can't entertain because I have so much stuff around me that I can't even have people over at my house. And I want to rid myself of that.
Okay, so now you see right there, and again, it's not gotcha, but it does impact. Remember, I just asked you, I said, does this impact your personal life, your family, your friends? People don't come over. You'd love to have people over and you can't. So You know what? You know what I just found? I just found CLA. I just found Clutterers Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
It's clutterersanonymous.org. It's a 12-step fellowship where you share, buddy. I am, you're in New Jersey. Okay. I'm just telling you right now, I got a little lump in my throat because like, I know what the hope part of it is like. I know that when there's like suddenly a little bit of light there, and the fact that you're calling up says that you want to change, but you're not ashamed. You know what I mean? You might be ashamed, but you, and there's a certain amount of anonymity on the radio. Great. But the fact that you did that cliche, you took that first step, you just acknowledged that you have a problem. You acknowledged it in front of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. And God bless you for it. Dude, you took that golden first step tonight. Okay? You just did that. And that's massive. And so I tell you what, buddy, you go and let me see here. I'm just going to put in the one. Let's see. Let me see what happens here when I do this. There are virtual meetings. If you go to clutterersanonymous.org, there's a little thing. Okay. There are meetings in Manhattan that you can, you know what? Do you know what? Right now, there's a meeting right now via conference call. It says now. Not right now. Okay. But there are meetings in Manhattan, for example, that happen. I put in like a Manhattan zip code that you can meet in person. You can jump on a Zoom in some cases. Robert, buddy, you have a shot here. You can do this. And I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be like this. And the beautiful thing about 12 steps is that it's a progressive, because what you have is progressive. Your obsession to collect and not throw away is progressive. It gets worse and worse and worse.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about 12 steps is that it addresses the obsession. It addresses the, it addresses what keeps you obsessed. And it relieves you of that obsession because it shows you that it doesn't have to be that way. And it also helps you to kind of relearn life a little bit. And also one of the most important things too is it's fellowship. You are meeting other people who are just like you. Because right now, if you were to go into one of your rooms and turn on the lights and look around and go, oh my God, there can't be anybody. I know there's people like me, but there can't be anybody.
Right. And you say, does anybody live like this?
Right. Even though you know they do. And you know what? You know, it could be one of the most beautiful things to go and sit in a room and hear somebody else tell a story. And it's an exact story from your life. And you go, oh my God, I thought I was alone. Something can happen. Something magical can happen. Do me a favor, Bob. Take a shot at this. Go to clutterersanonymous.org. Take a look at it. I'm going to be here next Saturday morning. Or you want to call back tomorrow, but I'm going to be here next Saturday. Give yourself a day or two. Take a shot at this. And please, is there anything else that you want to say or ask? I don't want to be dominating this conversation. So, okay, bye, Bob. Is there anything else you want to talk about or bring up or questions about recovery or anything at all?
No, I appreciate the advice because it's something that I know I need to do. And I remember many years ago, somebody said, the fact that you're bringing it out in the open, you're telling people that has the cure.
Yes. And you did it again tonight. And you know what? You're also helping somebody else with a hoarding addiction. You're helping somebody else, Bob, by doing this.
That's great. And I hope I hear people calling up saying that. That would make me feel better.
No, for sure. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
In a house. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, buddy. How bad is it? Like, I mean, is it all over? Is it every room? Do you keep everything in one room?
Yes, it's every room, and where someone says, Bob, one room at a time or whatever. And then, I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, I'm going to take care of this. And then, hours go by and it doesn't get done. Okay, well, tomorrow's another day. And I don't like feeling that way anymore.
I am going to say a big fat prayer for you. And I would love to hear back from you Bob.
I will.
Do that, okay?
Yes. Thank you so much. God
You
bless.
got it. God bless you. It does not have to be that way. Everybody are going to root for Bob. Thank you for that. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. God, I am so glad there was something there when I Googled it. Isn't that fascinating? Let's see. Let's get over to, let's go over to E. Frank, real quick there. E. Frank in Astoria, sobriety story. Good morning, buddy.
Yeah, good morning, TJ.
Yes.
I got to tell you my sobriety story, and it's not a good one because this is.
Oh, do me a favor, Frank. E. Frank, do me a favor. Turn down your radio, buddy. I'm hearing me.
Sorry, I apologize.
That's okay.
You know, this is a sobriety story that's been in my life, entire life, for years and years. You know, when my father, before he had me about 56 years ago, he used to drink a lot. And, you know, he didn't have a job, and he had many issues and problems in his life back in 1968 and 69.
When you were born?
Well, no, that's the years after, 3 years after he married
Gotcha.
my mother.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. And then when I was born, they said that I was prepense to alcoholism and mental illness. And they didn't believe that. They said that was not the case, that I was going to be normal, I was going to start school normally. But for some reason, TJ, you know, I've had these issues all my life. I've been bullied in school for them, harassed all my life because they said that there was a genetic problem because my father drank so much that I was born sick with schizophrenia, with a sexual addiction that came from his genome, all of that. And, you know, I'm actually taking medication for the issue. It's like, you know, a revolving door. It's just, you know, I take the medication, it has its effect, but then the condition comes back. And they always blame my father for, you know, drinking too.
Forgive me for cutting to it, but I'm just curious. And I forgive me if you've mentioned this before, but so are you currently sober or looking to achieve sobriety? Forgive me, E. Frank. I just want to.
Well, I don't have any tendencies in drinking alcohol. It's just that the drinking that my father did, they have said that it created a condition which created my, you know, when I was a fetus. Right.
Wow. Usually they say that it's, you know, the mom, if the mom is drinking, if the mom is, you know, doing drugs and smoking, you know, that could, impact the fetus. But wow, that's fascinating stuff. That's really interesting. E. Frank, thank you, buddy. I appreciate your honesty there. And, always something interesting from E. Frank. All right. You know what? It's bottom of the hour. Let's do our bottom of the hour break because we know we've got, Mr. Bongos there in South Carolina waiting to go. And Dr. Anthony's been patient. Dr. Anthony's been on hold since Wednesday. So, we'll talk to everybody in a few minutes. It is 4:30 in the AM, heading right to 5 o'clock in the 5 AM news hour with Liz Radabali. I'm TJ. I'm here. It's the other side. It's another side of midnight with TJ McCormick. I'm lingering since Wednesday. It's another side of midnight with TJ McCormick here on the one and only, the greatest in all the land, 77 WABC.
This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning. Good morning. It's 4:34 here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. 77 WABC, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Anything you want to talk about? We mentioned recovery. Just had a fascinating conversation. And we are rooting for our buddy who's going to deal with he's going to get back to us. I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling he's going to make that phone call or look that hoarding and Clutterers Anonymous. group. Little bit of breaking news. I mean, it happened a while ago, but only just now I'm seeing it on the New York Post. So 3 people were shot. Doesn't appear to be any fatalities, but 3 people were shot after a teen gunman opened fire in Times Square this morning. In the middle of Times Square. Apparently it was pretty damn packed, and I guess that's standard for 1:20 in the morning. An 18-year-old female and 2 men, 19 and 65. Was a very good year. Were injured in the shooting. Female grazed in her neck, 2 men suffered gunshot wounds in her leg. Mamdani said, "Where are the social workers?" Mamdani demanded social workers be okay. Obviously, I'm kidding, and Mamdani did not say that, and nobody can take a joke. Yeah, a 17-year-old suspected shooter taken into custody, and will likely be right back on the street for lunch. Excuse me. Boy, oh boy. The throat is going tonight, this morning, tomorrow. Tony, gotta smack me when I do that. Forgive me, gang. Gotta lubricate the pipes. 17 years old. 17. See, and this is what it is. Okay. There is a broken windows aspect to this. Stick with me, right? So, 17-year-old pulls out a gun in the middle of Times Square, packed on a Saturday night in the summer, right? On a Saturday morning, a late Friday night, early Saturday morning in Manhattan, Times Square, pulls out the gun. The high crime of it, right? The violent crime involved is the woman grazed in the neck and the other 2 men that were hurt. The broken windows aspect of it, the lifestyle aspect of it, the serenity aspect of it, the incivility of it is the part of the news article where they get to crowds of people scattered in panic from the bustling tourist hotspot outside the Hard Rock Cafe as gunfire rang out. Waves of police officers rushed in to bring order to the chaos. One person was also seen being wheeled into, where my head goes? Because I'm selfish, because I love my daughters and my wife more than anything else on this planet, including my own Irish self. My mind just has a habit, like I'm sure all of you, of just going right to, the ones I love. The ones I love. And look, of course, the notion of the ones I love being hurt or being part of the shooting violence, I mean, that's just, you can't even. But my head goes to, what if we were there with, what if we had walked out of a theater and, yes, suburban problems. What if me and my white wife and white girls and our suburban little lives, if we brought our little suburban selves down to Broadway to go see a bougie play and have bougie, ice cream after. All right, I get it. But sorry, that's the bubble I live in, so that's my reality, so that's where my head and my heart go. And I think to myself, all those people from God knows where, right here in New York, or a bunch of tourists probably, how about those people who just went running screaming? Who should have to go running screaming ever? This is why we gotta put a lid on this. It's gotta stop. The fact that people were shot, that a 17-year-old pulled out a gun, and we're gonna hear that even this 17-year-old has got a rap sheet. Even this 17-year-old who hasn't had, 4 pairs of shoes in his life has still managed to probably put together some sort of criminal record. Although at his age, would we even know? Is that available to the press? I don't know. All I know is it's bad enough that a 17-year-old's pulling out a gun and he's shooting and we have this culture of violence and The fact that we had hordes of people running and screaming and falling over each other, my God, the trauma of just being caught in a stampede in Midtown Manhattan on a Saturday morning, a late Friday night in the summertime. Just that trauma, that doesn't get logged into the record books. That's not a part of the hospital, roll call or whatever you call it, the police blotter or the hospital blotter. That's not gonna, but that's the reality for like thousands of people, it seems. Anyway, Eduardo in Tampa on line 2. Good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight.
Yeah, TJ, before I comment on my thing, what needs to happen is we need curfew in every state. That's why these young people are just, they should not be out once it gets dark.
That's
they
interesting.
should be inside.
That's interesting. Yeah, you'd probably get a lot of First Amendment problems, but you're right. I mean, that would be nice. Yeah. That would be nice. What do you got on addiction recovery? I called on previously. So I have a younger brother, and his thing is, he's got a drinking problem. The old man was the same thing, and that's where we think, the father was like that. And my mother says, maybe a few times my brother got alcohol from my dad. That's alleged. Okay.
We don't know. But,
it can happen.
But he'll drink like in the morning, and then in the afternoon. I mean, in the morning it's fine, but once it gets into the afternoon, he's fine. I mean, he used to work for a credible company, and then he gets out of that thing because he could be outside. He works for a lawn service. Okay, so he can be outside. You can be outside. Yeah. You're not stuck in an office. Yeah. Doing something like that outside work. You can hit the convenience store or whatever. Sure. You can. I could have found a million. I could have found a million ways to grab a can. Yeah. Oh, sure, of course. Yeah. But no, it's definitely, look, I mean, genetic, is it a taught that, who knows? I mean, I know there's alcoholism on both sides of my family, in previous generations to mine. And, certainly I think the closest was, there was my grandfather on my father's side and a couple of uncles, it seems, on my mother's side might have had a bit of an issue. But yeah, I mean, it skips. I mean, it's like me and like one or two other people my age in my family, but it's there, man. It's there, Thank you for calling, Eduardo. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy, as always. Mike, I'm going to ask you to hang in there for another 60 seconds, Pally. All right. We've got Mike and we got Dr. Anthony on hold. Dr. Anthony. Now he's been on hold since Christmas. All right. We're coming up on 4:45. It's our quarter of the hour break in just a moment. And, we're going to take that. And, when we come back, we will talk to the fellas on hold. We will do that. I promise, Dr. Anthony. And, Mike's down there. Mr. Bongo's down in South Carolina. And we are talking about, we're talking about Jasmine Crocker. We're talking about bad behavior. We're talking about addictive behavior. Tomorrow night, we got quite a cool thing. We are going to be talking to a fellow who runs it's very cool. We're going to be talking to a UFO tracker, tomorrow night. I'm sorry. Anthony, Tony, you got to come in here and smack me right in the temple when I do that. Tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, when I take to these airwaves again, thank you, Mr. Katsimatidis. Thank you, Chad Lopez, and everyone else here at 77 WABC for making this a reality. When we come on the air tomorrow morning, we are going to be talking to an honest to goodness, UFO expert, a tracker, of all things UFOs and UEPs all around the United States.
And we're going to talk about recent trends in UFOs. We're going to talk about where we've seen some recent clusters of UFO sightings, notably right over there in Long Island. Long Island has recently seen a massive uptick in UFO sightings. So this guy does national looks at that genre of conversation. And so tomorrow, looking forward to that. That's actually going to be very, very cool. Tomorrow morning, right here on Another Side of Midnight, and a few other fun, funky things, as we head into a Sunday morning. Anyway, it's Saturday morning right now here on 77 WABC, and time for another break. 1-800-848-9222. We shall return. Stay right there.
This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
It is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. That's me. And 77 WABC. That's this. And you are there. And I'm grateful. Boy, am I grateful that you're listening. And again, just to say, tomorrow we have got UFO Hunter. UFO Hunter is his social media handle, and UFO Hunter is going to be on with us tomorrow live. Going to get a good live in the 3 a.m. hour. It's going to be cool. We're going to talk to UFO Hunter Jim. I love that. That's so deep and dark and mysterious. Some guy out in the desert. And he's just got loads of information and cool stuff about UFOs around the country. So that's going to be tomorrow morning, and along with a couple other things, plus a new feature that I'm going to deliver to y'all, and that is who. Actually, we'll save it. It's basically some musings and ramblings about people I'm just done with. And I bet you if we compare notes, you're done with them too. So there's that, some fun stuff, and a fun drinking story. Well, you know what? Actually, I meant to tell you this fun drinking story tonight. Okay, I'll throw this to you real quick. Ready? This is the good side of the recovery story. I was about a year into recovery, a year sober, and I was on a flight. And I was, back then, a big shot with a whole lot of, upgrade miles. And back then you could upgrade a lot easier than you can today. And, I was in first class on a flight from Los Angeles to Miami on a regular flight that I used to take like weekly. I took this flight, and a flight attendant came up to me, and offered me a gin and tonic. Which was weird. She offered me a gin and tonic. And I said, no, I didn't order that. I'll have a seltzer, please. I hadn't started my Diet Coke. I was on seltzer, like a lot of drunks who were in recovery. And I said, seltzer, please. And she said, oh. And she, about halfway through the flight, she came up to me. And she said, can you come here? Can you come in? And I said, sure. It was weird. She asked me to come. So I went to the galley with her, and she didn't want to make out, which is good because I was still married. So she says, Mr. McCormack, she knew my name because I was in first class and they get your name, right? She goes, I just want to say, she goes, you don't remember me? And I said, I don't. She said, a while ago, a couple of years ago, she said, I remember you. You used to drink too much. She said, I remember that I had to cut you off, and you were making me very nervous, and I thought you were going to pass out. She goes, you never did. She goes, but you must have had about 4 or 5 or 6 gin and tonics. And she goes, do you not drink any? I said, no. I said, no, I quit drinking. I'm sorry. She goes, boy, I can tell. And she goes, I just want to say, I remember that, and I'm just so happy for you because you look so well, and clearly you're not drinking. And I've often thought of you because you seemed so young and you were so funny and so nice at the beginning of the flight when you sat down. And she goes, and then within a short time, I had to cut you off. And she goes, so gang, there's the upside to it. And that's proof that it doesn't have to be that way. Anyway, sorry to bring it all the way back around. John in Staten Island, let's go real quick. John in Staten Island on the Times Square shooting.
They need more security in Times Square.
You're darn right, right? More than cops, right?
1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the time of day, what day of the week it is. They just need more security in Times Square than what they have now.
Yep. They need cops on the beat cops, foot beat, whatever they call it. What do they call that? I heard a cop this week talking about what they called them. The foot patrol. I think it's called a foot patrol. Post, a foot post, a walking post. They need that, right? Old fashioned, old school. They need cops.
State troopers, too.
Right. Bring in the state, right? Cuomo would have done that. He did that. Remember, he put state troopers on the trains.
Really?
Yeah. I remember seeing state troopers on MTA train, on Metro North, coming out of Westchester.
How long ago was this?
This is when he was governor.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, John. Thank you, buddy. You're right. I think everybody agrees with John right there. Mike, Mike in South Carolina. I'm going to ask for a really rapid, quick one here, buddy.
I'll give you a rapid one, laddie.
Thank you,
TJ.
Thank you.
TJ, that's a rim shot. They're not bongos. It's a wood grain conga, not easy to play.
I am so sorry.
Right.
A wood grain conga. I am sorry. I stand corrected.
That's all right.
Never happen again. Thank you.
Okay, I'll make it quick.
Okay.
Crockett and Maxine Waters and Hakeem, you better tone down your rhetoric.
Yep.
Okay? You better tone down your rhetoric.
Yep.
Because this could really explode into craziness in our country.
Yep.
Okay? And I'll leave you with this.
Yes.
I like when you said to that nut job in White Plains, don't call my show again. Right. I called him a psycho, and he belongs in a straitjacket. All right? TJ,
yes, sir.
Keep doing what you're doing. And all the people out there, you have a compulsion. You need help. Anything you do too much of is too much.
Yep.
TJ.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for mentioning Keith, too, because I heard him on the radio a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Brian.
I know. I'm hoping he calls back. Thank you, Mike. Love you, buddy. Thank you very much. I love all you guys, actually. And you know what, by the way? That sounds tacky. That sounds a little silly, a little, cheesy. But I get in my car to leave, to drive north at 5:05 in the morning. And I just, honestly, I am consciously grateful for all you guys being out there, all the ears, all the voices. It does. I'm telling you, I've been wanting to do this for my whole flipping life. It means a lot. Mick in Brooklyn. Mick, good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight.
Good morning to you. I really appreciate the show so much.
Thank you.
And I just want to say one thing I haven't heard yet, which I think maybe, would be appreciated. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Keep working.
Amen.
It works if you work it. Keep working it. It works if you work it. Amen. Thank you for that, Mick. Thank you. And Saint Monica, pray for us. Monica is a patron saint of addicts. I learned last week that Saint Monica was an alcoholic. I learned that. Yeah. Learned it from one of our guests who talks about addiction. And we'll let Dr. Anthony wrap this up. Go ahead, Dr. Anthony.
TJ, I thought I was your biggest supporter and that you liked me. You keep me the last speaker?
No. You're the headliner. You're the headliner. You're headlining.
I love it. Listen, I just brought my wife back from Memphis, Tennessee, where we spent 5 days at Graceland.
Oh,
and the
that's
guest
great.
House.
I love that job.
And we had a super time. But
did you see the airplane across the street? Did you see the Lisa Marie, the plane?
Yeah, we walked the Mesa Marie. We took pictures. We had a really, really nice time.
Nice.
The weather was a little warm. That was the only negative.
Yeah. Sticky, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, your station is on always the cutting edge, and you're on the cutting edge. So Elvis's anniversary of his passing is coming up this coming Saturday.
Yep.
It'll be 48 years.
Where were you when you found out that Elvis had passed away? I remember where I was. Where were you?
I was preparing lesson plans for my students because the school didn't open up yet, so I was getting everything all ready.
I was in the back of the car on a rainy day in Boston. My parents had taken me and then I just had a brother and a sister. Three of us in the back of the car going to Boston for like a long weekend to go look at Boston. I don't know. I wasn't particular. I was like a kid. And, so it was a rainy day in Boston on like a summer 3 or 4 day vacation. And on the radio on, like I said, my dad listened to talk radio and news radio. There it was that Elvis had died in Memphis. Boom. And that's when is the anniversary?
This coming Saturday, the 16th of August.
All right. Okay. We'll be on the air. Tony, Bill, boom. We'll be on the air. We will pay the tribute. Anthony, Dr. Anthony, thank you so much for closing out the show and headlining the program. Everyone, it's time for Liz Radabali in the 5 a.m. newscast. Another great show. It's all you. Gang, thank you so much. Thanks again to Mr. Katz and Mr. Lopez for letting me do this. Thank you to Anthony and Bill. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, I wish you all the luck in the world.
Greg Kelly here for Colonial Metals Group, China's leading the largest anti-American alliance since World War II, one that's already dumped U.S. bonds, grabbed 43 million acres of our farmland, and is plotting to dethrone the dollar. That's why IRA and 401k savers are protecting their savings with gold. Go to freegoldguide.com/Kelly or call 800-655-5186 for your free gold guide on how to protect your wealth with gold 100% tax-free.